cabin for the weekend. The sky is dark, stars sprinkle it, there's a fire blazing before you. In the distance you hear a howl followed by a series of high-pitched barks. You're not the only one left in the forest tonight. Canis latrans, or the Latin name translated, means laughing dog, or as we know it, the coyote. Today I'm going to talk to you about some general information about the coyote, how they compare to wolves, and then some threats that they face. Some general information: the coyote usually lives up to about 8 years at the max, or it's usually roughly about 6 years. They are much smaller than wolves, and then they're much larger than a fox, so they're in between. Their pelts can be between tan to gray to black, and depending on where you find them at, whether it's in the mountains, they would have long, thick coats for the temperatures, or if they're in the desert, they would have thin, short pelts. The vocals that they have that you can hear are howls, whimpers, huffs, yelps, yips, and barks. And they are also high-pitched tones, so then they can be heard by others of their kind. And that is according to Desert USA. According to the Michigan DNR and to kidsop.com, they eat rodents, rabbits, lizards, snakes, birds, plants, seeds, insects, and carrion or an animal carcass. And they are more of an omnivore than a carnivore. And they are found all over the northern America, and they can be found in mountains, prairies, deserts, and I even found out that they actually do live in some of the suburban areas. Compared to wolves, both the wolf and the coyote live in packs. The coyotes tend to have 2 to 6 in a pack. The 2 would be considered just a mating pair. And like the wolf, the coyote also mates for life. They are, as I mentioned before, they are much smaller than the wolf, so they don't need to eat as much as a wolf would need. And that also helps them when they want to be more versatile and they can adapt better to all their surroundings. Both have territories, and the wolf will typically hunt larger prey like elk and deer, whereas a coyote would hunt smaller, and the only time a coyote would consume a larger animal would be is if it's a carcass that it finds either like alongside the road or from another animal devouring it. Threats that the coyotes faced in the wild would be disease they could get disease from the animal that they eat. They have starvation if they can't find food, and then one of the others are other predators such as cougars, and sometimes the occasional bear. And then the biggest of all animals that would attack them are wolves. They're actually natural enemies. And then traps and car collisions are also another threat to them, but the biggest threat to them are people. In conclusion, I hope you take with you some information about some general facts about the coyotes, how they compare to wolves, and threats that they face.